Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here, to bring you, semi-quick video, just giving you my general thoughts on season 1 of Wynonna Earp on Syfy. I did do a video on this back when it initially premiered. I did a review on the first episode. I also did a video before it first aired, just hyping it up, talking about my, basically expectations and such. And then I didn't really do any videos on it, and I did keep up with the show, though. There's just a lot of other shows I was, doing videos on. So I kind of fell behind on it. And I did manage to watch the last 3 episodes just a couple nights ago, though, of Season 1. Season 2 is premiering in June, I think. Glad but kind of surprised to get a second season, just because Syfy's not, like a huge network. But luckily, both this and Van Helsing did get second seasons. I'll just briefly explain to you the plot of the show real quick. Based on the IDW comic, Wynonna Earp follows Wyatt Earp's great-granddaughter as she battles demons and other creatures. With her unique abilities and a posse of dysfunctional allies, she's the only thing that can bring the paranormal to justice. I did enjoy season 1. It's not like the greatest show on TV or anything, but I think it definitely is enjoyable. It is fairly entertaining, obviously, because I did watch all 13 episodes. It is silly. It is a bit cheesy and things like that. It feels campy and different things or different terms like that. But I think they're kind of self-aware. They know what kind of show they are. They know what kind of style they're being perceived as, and that's what they are. So you can't really knock a show too much if they're doing things a certain way on purpose. You know what I mean? But what I really do like about the show is especially the lead, Melanie Scrofano, as Wynonna Earp. I think she's really good. I do like her a lot. Well, like I said, like a lot of it isn't meant to be taken completely seriously, and it still isn't. But she just does a good job of, playing that, not just badass, but, she has her vulnerabilities too, but just like her attitude, her, sass, her wit and everything like that. As well as, her, shortcomings in certain areas, which she admits to. She just plays it off, and Melanie Scrofano just plays it off in a really fun way, and she's definitely why I, made sure to catch up on the show at some point. TV shows, they've had a lot of really good, leads lately as far as females go. Now I really do like, female leads as much as male leads, or more in certain, scenarios. So I'm just glad that, we've gotten more roles, bigger roles like that, for not just males but females too, so we have like Wynonna Earp, we have Van Helsing, Jessica Jones, things like that, even like, Lagatha on Vikings, or, Vanessa on Penny Dreadful. Some of them obviously aren't, like of the same, quality necessarily, but still, there are definitely a lot of awesome male and female characters nowadays, and I'm happy about that. And luckily, none of these are as cheesy as Supergirl or anything like that, so that's good. And of course, another reason why I do enjoy the show is because I'm a fan of like supernatural, horror-based, fiction like this. I'm a fan of like really serious, supernatural horror stuff like Penny Dreadful there. Supernatural obviously, but then I can also enjoy things, like Z Nation. Then I can go back to The Walking Dead, and then I can go from, just different, ends like that, I guess you could say. And like I said, it's not the best show in the world, but I definitely think it is entertaining. As far as the rest of the cast goes, you have Tim Roslin as Doc Holliday. He's pretty good. He definitely is enjoyable to watch. He plays off the personality they write in for Doc pretty well. But I don't really like the forced in, sort of romance between him and Wynonna. I think that's honestly one of the weaker parts of the show. It just feels kind of weird, and Doc just happens to be this younger, version of himself, so he can match up with Wynonna. It feels a little bit odd. I don't really think that part of it was necessary. I think it would have worked, just as well, if not better, if he was like an older actor or something, and they just had him as like a fatherly figure. I think it actually would have worked better, actually, but the actor doesn't do a bad job. And then you have Dominique Provost-Chalkley as Waverly, Wynonna's sister. She's definitely not as headstrong or aggressive as Wynonna. She's more of like a book smart type of character, and she's a little bit bland at times, I will admit. But I think her and Wynonna do have some fun chemistry together. I do buy that they care about each other, and like I said, they do have good chemistry. They do have good back and forths. She's also turns out to be more interested in females, which is pretty cool. Like, she eventually develops feelings for Sheriff or like Officer Hot, played by Catherine Barrell, who is pretty fun on the show. I was glad that she wasn't killed off. They didn't go with that cliche, at least not yet. Then we have Shamir Anderson as Agent Dawes, who at first you could think of as your stereotypical male lead on the show. But I actually think he's pretty good in the role. I do like him quite a bit. I probably find his character more necessary than Doc. And that's just because of the forced romance and everything. With Dawes and Wynonna, I feel like they're, whatever they are, progresses a little bit more naturally. And he has his own side of the story that we hardly know about yet. He's sent in from Black Badge, or a group, something named like that. You're just trying to keep these revenants and all these demons at bay and everything like that. But they have their own plans for him. And he appears to, we still don't know exactly what he is, but he's trying to keep this rage under control. And in the final episode or two, we see his eyes light up. Is he some kind of werewolf or something of that nature? I think that'd be pretty cool. I imagine we'll see it in season 2, because he just throws around all these revenants in a bar towards the end. And I know in the comics that Wynonna does come across things like werewolves, so I think it would make sense, but we're not exactly sure yet. But either way, I do like Dawes quite a bit. Then you have Michael Eklund as Bobo Del Rey. He's sort of the main antagonist on the show, at least minus the witch and everything like that. He was actually pretty good. Michael Eklund, he's been in a bunch of stuff. From he had some small roles on a ton of TV shows over the years, but he's also been in a lot of more independent movies, like See No Evil 2 recently, or just even smaller things than that. But he's still a very good creepy type of actor. I like him quite a bit. He's also a really nice guy. You can follow him on Facebook and everything. I think he's pretty good as Bobo. I liked his connections to not Waverly, but Willa, the sister they thought they had lost. And that's when they do discover that Willa is actually still alive, or she was brought back somehow towards the later part of the season. I thought that did make the main story a little bit more interesting. I did like the actor they had playing Willa. Let me see if I can find her. But it couldn't be that perfect right away. Something's probably wrong with her or something like that. But still, I think that bringing that dynamic back up again, it made for a better, it did good for the main story, basically. And of course, she ends up having more connections to Bobo than we initially realized. They turn out to be, pretty involved with each other. But obviously, Willa being brought back, she's not really in her right mind anymore or anything like that. It's not really her, necessarily. But, I did buy that Bobo does really care about Willa, and, he became a little bit more, interesting as a character towards the end of the season, so I like that. So, yeah, and I thought it was, actually somewhat intense. They had the whole town almost going rabid, being, really aggressive and everything, trying to go after, Wynonna and the gang. So, again, it just got better and better the more it went on, really, in my opinion. As far as favorite episodes, I'm not sure. Like I said, I kind of watched it a little bit broken up. But there's this, some pretty good cases of the week episodes they did. Sort of with this, dead, barber type of thing. I forget exactly what it was. And we've seen things on that, we've seen things like that on shows before, but still, overall, Wynonna Earp, I think, is a fine time. It's not like, again, it's not like the greatest thing you'll see on TV, but, it knows what it is, knows what kind of style it is, and I think if you can roll with that, it can be an enjoyable experience. I definitely got pretty into it, apparently. I do look forward to season 2. I think I will be reviewing it when it starts up again. I put it in the same, almost a similar categories like iZombie. It doesn't take itself fully seriously, but it can still have some nicer, more grounded moments here and there. I'm not saying I like it as much as iZombie yet, but, it's kind of a similar approach, really. So, yeah, and then, the show compared to, like, something like Van Helsing on Syfy. Van Helsing's definitely a more self-serious show, and I do think it's a better show. But I will say something Wynonna Earp did end up having over Van Helsing. Van Helsing, like I said, I do think it's a better show, but Van Helsing, as it went along later into the season, it did some bigger things in the story that didn't really end up working too well. The execution ended up being a little bit flat for me anyway. But with Wynonna Earp, its consistency sort of stayed a little bit more stable, at least for me. When they tried to do more serious stuff with Willa, it felt natural and it actually worked. I didn't really feel like there was anything they messed up on as far as like their usual quality goes. So there's that. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Wynonna Earp season 1. Like I said, it is a good time. I'd rate it like the first season like a C+, B-. I do think it's fairly enjoyable. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and yeah. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I will be uploading my review of this of tonight's episode of the originals either late tonight or tomorrow, as well as a review of Legends of Tomorrow season 1 coming within the next day or two as well. So yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.